Great evening, everyone. Oh my God, it's been so long, right? It's been really long. And let me say, I so apologize. I was talking about earlier this year. Consistency is key, y'all. Life, okay? That's just real life. I'm just a life person, and life has happened. And if you follow me on social media, you know life is just going on. But I did not want to neglect you guys for too long. And it's really not neglection. Listen, if you ever don't see me on, y'all could just always catch the replay to something that you haven't watched it or from last season, well, last year, and just catch some of those shows and rewatch it because it was really, really, really great content. And so I just want to put that plug out there. But y'all know I get really chatty, right? So I'm not going to start talking to catch y'all up with everything. Y'all just going to have to like scroll down, scroll up. I don't know what platform you're on, but you know what I mean. So listen, y'all, I am superly excited. Why is Santrisa excited? First of all, if you do not know me, I am a certified trauma recovery coach, and I am also the CEO of Inspired by You and Inspiring You nonprofit, right? And so I love to come on. I wanted to create this safe platform for other people to come in. Y'all always know, I always say that we are helpers of one another. I am not a one-man show. That we all do similar work and great work. And sometimes it takes somebody different, right, to convey the same message that I'm conveying so that you can get it. And so I'm excited because I have Felisha Johnson on with me, who is too a certified trauma recovery coach. I'm so happy that we connected, we clicked, we got along. It wasn't, no, I'm a coach, give me all the clients. I don't want them all, y'all. I just want to let y'all know that, because some of y'all, I got to pass y'all off. Anyway, let's get started. So, Felisha, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to everyone and we will kick off this conversation.
Yes, thank you, Patrice, for just having me. I appreciate you. I love your personality and just thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, I am Felisha Johnson, Coach Felisha Johnson, certified trauma recovery coach. And, I pretty much help people rebuild and renew and restore those broken things that is in their life, because a lot of times we believe that we can't live after trauma. And so I got in this field, like many of us get in this field, not only to help people, but only because of my own personal story of childhood abuse, being sexually abused at 7 years old, placed in the foster care system, dealing with all of that, growing up, getting married at 16 years old, getting divorced at 19, and then really having to look down at my children and be like, okay, something got to happen. Like something has to change. I got to choose something different, because now it was not only me being affected, it was my kids being affected. And that was like my day. In that day, I began to change my story, my life. And so, yeah, that's Felisha.
Thank you, girl. Listen, first of all, do you ever get tongue tied when you say certified trauma recovery coach?
I do. I do. I like it's Coach Felisha, trauma coach Felisha, Coach Felisha.
I'm like certified trauma recovery coach, and then I said, I just wanted to know. I just in my mind, I was like, let me just answer that real quick. Just it had nothing to do with
You
anything,
ain't
y'all.
by
I just
yourself. You ain't by yourself.
I think it's the certified trauma recovery coach and then my name, Santrisa,
Yeah,
that kind of all just ties me up. It's just
yeah,
so, and God forbid if I said my whole name, people be like, that's just a lot of
yeah.
words. But we make it through.
Make
Um, you said something that was so key. I was talking about it the other day, and it was about the trickle effect,
Mm,
right? And what do I mean by that? Like how you said you had children and you was like something has to stop and you make a decision. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because I was saying to someone the other day that how we are raised, things that we go through, when we face trauma, we normally put those traumas on our children who haven't experienced it and try to mold them as if we're preparing them. But I think we cause damage.
yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. And it's one of the things like there's a quote it's like, um, be that parent that doesn't cause your child abuse or harm, so they have to heal. I absolutely agree with that quote, because many a times we are projecting and we're teaching our children how we were taught. We react or respond either through our trauma response. And so a lot of times we think that the way we were raised, our children got to be raised. And so it ends up being that, oh, we think that we're doing good, like you stated, but actually we're really hurting. And so, for example, so people can get a picture, because, you know, I like stories. When I first began my healing journey, I was already a mother of two daughters. And I was already just still angry, still bitter, still hurting. So many a times when stress happened in my life, either was at my job, with a relationship, it was me yelling and fussing and cussing at my kids when I first started healing. And a lot of times I was fussing at what they were doing, but it really wasn't them. It was what I was going through on the inside. And not only what I was dealing with on the inside, I was still broken. I was still hurting. And so how I projected that was, oh, I'm a yell, fuss, and cuss. It is not until I got good into my healing journey that I was like, this ain't healthy. Like every day I'm fussing and cussing and upset. This ain't healthy. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for them. And then I realized it was not just me, but I had a foster mother. I don't know if you ever had a mother or had somebody in your life that they were always angry, always yelling, always fussing and cussing. And I realized that some of the stuff that the way I parented was because of how I was parented or what I picked up during my journey or my life experiences. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's what it is. Even though sometimes children, I was having this conversation with my son the other day. We say, when our parents are raising us, we'll say, I ain't never gonna do that with my kids, right? And so you try it a different way, and sometimes that, because when you say that, because a lot of young people say that, like, hey, when I get kids, I'm gonna do it different. But I feel like you just never know. Number one, you never know until you have children, right? And then number two, I think the older I get, the more I see things that my parents did that I do, right? Um, and then sometimes you do an overly amount. And so for me, I think with my coming up, like I grew up, people will look and, my parents were married. We all lived in a house, but my parents were always busy, right? They always were busy. My dad always worked, and I'm not knocking it. He's a very hardworking man. My mother worked, but then she also had my oldest sibling who was sick. So it came a point in time where she used to be on the road and travel all the time. And so for me, that caused for me to keep my kids close, right? Um, and try to show this love, that not that I don't love my kids. I'm not saying it like that because I don't want people to perceive it like that, right? That I'm saying that, but to the overly amount of it, right? I'm keeping you close to keep you safe because I love you. I don't want nothing to happen, da, 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 instead of allowing for them to kind of live a little bit.
Right.
And so it was that experience, right? Because I was like, well, I'm gonna always be there. But what happens is that you get to a point in time like me. I'm about at my empty nester syndrome. And I find myself by myself in this house by myself a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it puts me in a perspective of what's my next. Because it's kind of like I had my children when I had my first son when I was 15. So it's always been me and my children. Right. And now that I'm 42, my baby is going to be 17. I'm like, what am I do next, girl? And so I say all of that to say is that in your healing process, it's essential that you take time to learn you.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Don't base your healing around everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Because it won't be true healing.
I absolutely agree with you. That's the thing. Like, I couldn't heal for my kids. You get what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times we think, oh, I got to heal because I want to be a better wife, or I got to heal. No, you are healing because you're trying to be a better version of who you are and being who God created you to be. You feel me? So a lot of times we're trying to base our healing on outside, um, I guess, experiences. So we think, okay, if I'm married this amount of time, then I'm healing. Or if I'm doing this, or am I doing, like, it becomes like a to-do list, or some type of, oh, check, oh, I got this done, check. But then when something happened that may be a stressor, or maybe something that is wounding, all heck just blows up. Because why? You really didn't take the time to say, hey, I need to know what I like, or what I don't like, who I am. And I feel like during the healing journey, you have to do somewhat of a rediscovery process. What part of my personality is for my trauma, and what is my personality because it's just my personality? What is my personality from either my experiences, and what is my personality is it's just who I am. So when it comes to healing, I absolutely agree with you that being you and finding you is so important, because you begin to become seeking validation from others, or seeking validation from things, or what you're doing, or the happenings in life. So I agree with you on that.
That's so, girl, I should have sat on your sofa for a long time. Like, it's true though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so true. I think you have to be cautious about that, because your healing journey will make you seek out approval from people as you're learning who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And to dig deep and to figure out why is it that you, and be real with yourself. Because some things is abnormal. It's abnormal. What do I mean by that? Right? Because I say things that, and people probably be like, huh? Some things, and I said this before, and I use this terminology a lot. I used to hold, I think I said this on your show. Y'all, if y'all ain't catch that show, y'all need to go back to Instagram and go watch it. That's a plug. Put the plug in.
Plug.
See, people become people hoarders, right?
Oh,
and so my whole life, I thought it was just normal. You think that you're being overprotective of people, your relationships, I really care about them, but it's not healthy at all. It's not a healthy place to be in. But how did I realize that? Right? I realized that because people would say to me like, oh, she's jealous.
Yeah.
I'm not a jealous person, right, by far. I think I was more insecure or envious than jealous.
Yeah.
But to people, it would be perceived as being jealous. And so you sit back as you're growing and you go, well, why would they say I'm a jealous person? And I'm not. I'm by far. And so when you start having those questions, or people start to classify you and categorize you into a grouping, I think then it's essential to do a self-evaluation and to say, what characteristics am I displaying that will cause for them to say that? Because if multiple people are saying it, there's some truth in there, even if it's a little bit, it's something.
Yeah.
Right. And I just have to say, it might just be how you conduct yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That you don't even realize. Sometimes we got habits, things that we do that we don't even realize that we do. That's kind of like somebody who pop gum. Like after a while, when they start, it just pop, 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 and they don't even think about it.
Yeah, they don't even realize it. It's just something that they've been doing for so long, and then it becomes a habit. So they're like, oh, can you stop popping the gum? It's like, oh, I didn't pop the gum. I'm chewing it. No, you keep popping it. It's getting on my nerves. But it's so true. So one of the things to just fit that in is like, for me, I had a bad anger. I had a bad temper.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Girl, you don't even look like it.
Who you see now, God has
Jesus.
make me bust out a song. I've been changed. But no, that was one of the things that my anger was bad. My temper was bad. And so a lot of times people were only hanging around with me. It was like, oh, bring Felisha with her because I know she gonna pop off if anything happened. Oh, I know Felisha, she always ready to fight somebody and da 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 this and da da da. She just always upset, angry, blase, blase. And I begin to like, I ain't angry. When you let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you something. When you say that you're not something and you get offended when something is being said, like you said, most of the time it is true. Most of the time it is true. So one of the things for me was like, I was like, I'm not angry. I just don't like, try to put it back on other people. So if you get to that place of, oh, I'm putting it back on other people and you don't take time of self-evaluation, you're going to always and continue to blame other people and give other people that source of power of saying, okay, it's their fault. Oh, this is why I'm like this, or this is who I am and I'm gonna be like this. I'm never gonna change because you either take me as I am. That tells me right there that you ain't do no type of self-evaluation. You're not trying to. You are okay and content and comfortable with who you are. It was not until I realized, like, dang, I am angry. Like, dang, I do got to change my ways. And I had to be, and honestly, cut off people that was attached to me because of who I was, or that trauma response I had of just being angry or blowing up or popping off. And so you have to. I think healing, I always say that it's a choice and it's you being truthful. You have to be honest. You got to be real. This word, you cannot be fake with this word. You got to be 100% honest and true because you will always find something in of, oh, it's their fault, or find blame, or putting something else off on either someone else or something else. So I agree with you on that one.
And it's so true. Let me just say this, right? Because people always say, this just me. Like, it's not. Because when you was a kid, first of all, in psychology, they teach you that your personality, your everything is created in between ages. I believe it's like 7, 6, like up to 1 to 6, 7, right? When a child is born and they're growing up, you're molding them with how they should be, right? And so that touches on the trickle effect, right? But a child is so free-spirited. They talk to everybody. They play with everybody. They might stare at you because they've never seen you type of person you are or your race, but they are like, hey, and they're very free-spirited, right? And so it's life situations that mold you to be who you are. Mm-hmm. Right. And so if you go, I'm just an angry person, like then it's the why, because you wasn't always like that. Right. People, I just don't trust people. I just been like that all my life. No, you haven't. Because why do you think they teach children don't take candy from strangers? Because they trusted whoever it was. And so you can't, people always say that, like, it's just how I am. It's just me. But something made you like that.
Yep.
Some type of trauma. And so let me say this, because I always say this. Trauma is anything that affects the normalcy of life. And that's my layman term for it, right? Because it's everybody experiences it. And trauma looks different for everybody else. And so you might be like, well, I ain't experienced trauma. It could have been a loss of a job, a pet, your cat could have ran away, your dog could have, anything, like anything. Anything could have been a form of trauma that caused you to feel how you are. You could have had a friend who lied to you. That's traumatic, right? Because you really trusted them. Yeah. And so it's really taking that time out to discover the why. Why am I like that? Why I used to be very, very, and I still kind of am very, very, very shy. not wanting to really meet people. And it's funny how God aligns our paths and puts us in this place and where we're in the forefront. And I'm like, I'm not a forefront person, but I think I'm not I used to think I'm not a forefront person because I used to be scared of rejection.
Right.
Right. And so it's the why. Why can't you stand out and be different from everybody else? Because at some point in time, I was rejected so much, I decided to retreat. And so now I don't want to go in the forefront because I don't want people to reject me. What would they say? What would they do? Are they going to like me? Aren't they going to like me? Are they going to be my friend today? Not my friend tomorrow? You get what I'm saying? And you deal with that. I think, and like you said, you have to be true to yourself. Absolutely. I had to take a whole time. Like now I'm kind of on a sabbatical. Whatever that looks like.
A sabbatical is supposed to be you resting and talking to Jesus.
I'm on this semi-sabbatical. And even though I'm busy, I'm literally taking this time out, and I have things going on, but my sabbatical really looks like me learning myself, more about myself. And it's necessary because as we get older, we evolve. Right. And as we get older, we discover different things about ourselves. And as you get older, y'all used to warn me about it. Not y'all, but people used to warn me. And it's certain things you tolerate, certain things you don't. You be like, nope, I want that. Yes, no, you know what I mean? And so you're more direct with things. And so, when I coming into 2022, the Lord told me, like, this is the year of San Teresa. And I'm like, God, what does that look like? Right? Like, what? And I was posting it a lot. But it's the year of relearning me. Yeah. Not that I don't learn me. Not that I don't learn me. What the world? Not that I don't know me. But I'm not the same person that I was. Yeah. Right. And so, and you should always take that time out to do that. Again, it's a part of spending time with yourself, loving on yourself, and really knowing what you like and certain things I like. Like now, girl, I don't know about you, right? But I'll go to a restaurant now, I'll be like, can I have my steak medium well, my broccoli cooked soft? Can you put butter on the side? Like before, I don't.
You wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I don't think I want to go. Like you're able to now to be intentional and give yourself permission to be like, okay, no, I'm not going to go here. I want to go here. And not even saying you're able to say what you want now. You're able to be like, okay, this is what I like. I like what I like. And if somebody don't like it, you be like, okay, still it's what I like. It's what I like. I'm okay if I'm busy today. I'm okay with that. But if I feel like I want to be in bed all day, I'm okay. And I don't care about your opinion or whatever you think about whatever you got going on. Because why? I am comfortable and I know me. I know when I'm tired. I know when maybe emotionally I'm off. Maybe I need to get in my prayer room and I know me. And you're not going to stop me from being me. You either accept me or not at all. It is what it is.
I always talk about now capacity. That is like my biggest word. Like people are like, you're doing a lot. I'm like, yeah, but I know my capacity. I know when to say. And it started off by me saying, instead of someone asking me something and me giving them a direct answer, I'd be like, let me think about that. And then I'll come back to you. So before it was yes. I was a yes person.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And then I started to transition. I started saying, let me think about it, and I'll get back to you. Like, what's your deadline that you need a response by? And so it was pacing myself to get to the point now to say what my capacity is. There's days where I will turn my phone. People call me and they be like, your phone is on it's just going straight. I love do not disturb. Let me tell you, y'all. And then Apple had the nerve to customize do not disturb. Ooh. What do I mean by that? I got a do not disturb that's that's only for church. It's my church do not disturb. That means that absolutely nobody could come through. Then I have a regular do not disturb where it says personal do not disturb. So the only people that can get through are my children. Then I have my other do not disturb where my favorites could contact me. Like, but my regular church one, like nobody, like I have a Sabbath day. My Sabbath day is on Sundays. Do not call me about business. We can laugh. It's a Sabbath. It's my worship and family day, family and friends day. And however I choose to spend it on that day is how I choose to operate business. Like, no, like I don't want my brain to be there, right? And so it's setting boundaries within yourself as you're learning yourself. Because sometimes I'd be like, listen, last night I had a meeting and I said, I'm mentally tapped. I'm not even, I can't. My capacity limit for today is over.
Yeah.
And it's not capacity just with your to-do list. It's even your mental capacity, because you always want to be 100% at what you're doing. The Bible says that whatever we do, we're supposed to do it as if we're doing it unto the Lord. And so if you can't meet that mark, would you serve the Lord half-heartedly? Would you worship? Some people do. I ain't even a good question to ask. And some people are like, yeah. But like, you're doing everything that you're doing, no matter what capacity is in, you're supposed to give your 100% as if you're doing it unto God.
Absolutely.
And if your capacity is at its max and you feel like it's going to be too much of a push to do it, where it won't be your best stuff, don't do it.
Don't.
What's a couple hours?
Don't. Bring it back in. Like, I think because we live in this society as like, oh, you gotta be, you gotta do, you gotta be, you gotta be, do, be, great, success, hustle, go. We are so wired to not even be able to take that step back and say, I need to take a step back and realize maybe this right now is too much. Maybe I need to know what my boundaries are, because a lot of people don't know boundaries. For me, example, last year, God put in my spirit, is like, Felisha, you got to be intentional with your time, your space, your money, and what you say yes to, right? And I was like, oh man, because what I was finding myself doing, this is why I say this is this life, this journey, this healing, it's a rediscovering process. Because I would say yes to something, and then when I said yes, I find out that I really didn't want to say yes, or I found out that maybe it was too much because I already had other things going on. So now I done double packed my schedule when I really, really could have said, at this moment, I can't, or at this moment, I need time. So I didn't have a boundary for myself.
Yeah.
2022 happened. That something happened in December. People were calling me left and right, and I was like, at the moment, I can't do it at the time. I'm super busy, and I was, because now it's funny how when you say something, life tries to show up and say, oh, she said she about to be, she about her business, or she's intentional. Let me see if I can throw this and throw that at her. When I tell you, no lie, everybody was calling me left and right. Can you do this? Can you be a part of this? Can you join this? Da 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 da. And I'm like, I can't. But I had to set that boundary, and that was that discovering process of learning. Okay, Felisha, you can't be. You got. First of all, I'm a mother of 6. Okay.
Yeah. Girl, you look great. I got 3 and got all these gray hairs up.
I'm a mother of 6, right? And I have a whole husband and a whole household. So I was moving and running my business like I'm one of these single mothers. I don't got no kids. I don't got nothing. So I'm like, go, being a part of everything and anything. But I realized, like, Felisha, you are Felisha. You are Felisha. So you need to set your life how Felisha will set her life. So you don't have to be, we get frustrated when we're not setting boundaries. We get angry because we done committed to stuff that we really didn't want to commit to. And so that's why I always tell people, I was like, you got to get to that place of knowing who you are, not what society says about you, not what your trauma said about you, not what your experience, your belief, or what people expect of you. You have to get real and serious about who are you
Yeah.
at this moment, and who are you trying to become? Right? Because we don't really know, because we're trying to be and do what everybody says we are, or be and do what everybody think we should be doing. And if you don't set no boundaries or set a guide, or how can I say, allowing God to really guide you of what you're called to, what your purpose to, and being able to stay in your lane. Am I saying, oh, not help people? Am I saying not to, reach out to? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you got to be in that place that you're so intentional with who you are and what you don't be trying to go all over here, right? And that ain't even in your lane. Stay in your lane, baby. Why are you trying to be like, for me, it was like, oh, I have to be on goal. I have to be this multi person of, I got to run my business 24 hours a day. I can't. It ain't no possible way I can run because I got children. And the thing about my children is they're all under the age of 12. So I have young babies. So I have to set limits. I got to create a schedule. Okay, this day is my business hour. These days, these hours are my to-do list for my business. The other is home, my wifely duties, my motherly duties. Oh, the kids got sports at a certain time. I gotta make all that. I can't be at your event, even though you want me to be at your event. My kids got track. And it's being able to say, and not feel bad. Can we talk about that? Can not feel bad that you have other responsibilities, or feel bad, not even responsibility, that I want to just take some time out for me. Don't feel bad about that. Don't even feel bad that I got stuff to do that I want to accomplish. I would love to help you, but at this time, I can't. But a lot of times we get in that place of, oh man, I'm not there for that person, or I'm not being all that I can be for that person. But sometimes God wants you to take a chill pill, take a step back, and let me do some renewing and relearning and unlearning inside of you, so you can get to that next level. Besides getting to that next level and then getting tired. So yeah, that's my little take on that.
It's and what you said is important, right? And even for children, I told my kids when they were growing up, one of the things I used to say that I learned very, very young. My parents never said it. And I think it came from, kids are cruel.
Oh yeah, they are.
Sometimes kids say things because they don't understand. And so instead of me, because my mom used to hold grudge, my parents were kind of petty in their own ways, right? And so they would hold grudges, even towards their children, based off of things that they've experienced in their life, right? And I didn't want to do that, right? But my siblings, we knew if my mother called me and was like, hey, Tina B, I'll call my sister and be like, what'd you do? What'd you do to make her mad, right? Like, because she used to kind of not play favorites, but it was kind of like if she was mad at my sister, then I was her favorite. If she was mad at me and my sister, she would call my brother. If she was mad at one of us, then the other one. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of how she played it. And so we just, as we got older, we kind of knew, right? And so I didn't want to be that parent who held grudges because my kids hurt me.
Yeah. Ooh.
Behind something that they said that they didn't mean to say, but kids are just cruel, right? Sometimes they say things and not to be, a kid will call you fat in a heartbeat. They wasn't saying it to make you mad, but it hurts your feelings because it is what it is, but it was truth. They just speak raw truth. And so that was an example, y'all. My kids ain't call me fat. Actually, now they are. Now that I'm losing weight, they keep saying how big I was. I'm gonna just put that out there. But anyway, pull it back in. So I say that because I used to tell them all the time that before my title became mom, it's Santrisa. I am Santrisa. I was born Santrisa before I was an aunt, and I was born a sister, right? That's the only thing I was born was a daughter and a sister, an individual, a daughter, a sister. Because when I came in, I had siblings already. So that made me automatically a sibling, right? A sister. And when I came in, right? I was my mother's daughter, so that made me a daughter. And then she individually made me Santresa. And so what does that look like? That means that I hurt, I bleed, I cry, I get mad, like everybody else. The difference is I just carry a title, and my title makes me responsible for you, for your well-being as you're growing up. But at the end of the day, I'm still an individual. Out of respect, you call me mom, right? Because that's what we're taught to do, right? In some cultures, they don't call their mothers mom, right? But in the US of A, we are taught to call our mothers mom. Some people do, some people don't, whatever the case may be, my kids know better, right? And so I say that because to learn balance, and like you said, and it's okay to be like, I can't, like, you know, like you said, now my son plays sports now, and he's starting to play more. And I looked at him the other day and I said, because he said, oh, you know, he played basketball season finished. I put him in like a summer program to play ball, which is fine. He just signed up for track at his school. I gave him the side. Well, I wanted him to run track, so let me not say I gave him the side eye. Kind of, sort of. I started thinking about what was I thinking by signing him up and convincing him to do track. Then he came back and said, I signed up for football for the fall. That's when the side eye started coming, right? Mm-hmm. Then it was, and then, you know, we have basketball again. Okay, it's fine. And so I'm saying that to say to balance it all out, right? And he knows that I'm busy. You know, there's a lot of Zooms, especially because everything's virtual or calls. And so we have to know in advance scheduling, so everything can be scheduled out, or else I'm going to be like how I was the other day. I had a Zoom call at 8:30. I had an award ceremony at 7 that ended at 9, right? And so I was on the Zoom, but my camera was off because I was in travel doing something else. But that was okay, right? Because it was my son. But then I had people who I literally be like, I can't. Can we reschedule? Can we plan it out? What's your availability? I keep a calendar, right? I got an assistant who helps me with my personal calendar because I was double booking, triple booking everybody. I was like, how am I going to? I'm making statements. I think we had scheduled to talk last week, Friday. Yeah. I'm in a whole conversation. I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to this wake on Friday at such and such a time. And then in my mind, I said, no, you're not. You got a whole meeting. I was like, oh. But I say that to say, as you were saying, you have to learn balance, right, in your time. You have to learn when you could do, when you can't do. You have to learn when it's okay to say no. Sometimes you could just send a card, and that's as good as condolences. I have a friend who did something for their birthday. I couldn't make it. And so I set aside time and we went out ourselves and we celebrated. Yeah. It's essential. Like, you are not God. You're not omnipresent.
And don't be trying to
be. Because some people like, I'll be 10 minutes here and then 20 minutes here. And I find myself doing that sometimes even now. I'll say, I'm going to this event, but I'm only going to be there for a short period of time. I'm not going to stay the duration. And it never fails. I don't know if you ever had this happen to you. It never fails that something happens and it sparks your interest and then you all want to leave. That's why I'll schedule stuff on Sundays for church. Because I'll be like, oh, I'm going to just leave service early. Then the spirit will happen. The spirit will hit, get all heavy. Then you be like, I got to go.
That's a setup. If you not going to be present 100%, I'm not about to do that. Like, because I always get caught up into that point of when I go someplace, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be only 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes be a whole hour. And then I'm like, so I don't even like, and that's part of learning yourself. Because it's like, no, don't even set yourself up for that. Don't.
Maybe I'm still learning, y'all. Listen, I'm still learning because this goes back to what I said. I facilitated something, and I said that. So y'all know I'm a church girl, so it always comes out periodically. So I said, people's intentions most of the time always good, right? We try to do the best that we can. Sometimes we don't understand the capacity. Sometimes we don't understand things happen. And sometimes people are really relying on for you to do it. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times we fall into this sector of, I don't trust people. I don't even know if I said this on your show, but I don't trust people. And I think I did. Because I say it a lot, God give you something, you'd be wanting to share it with the whole world, right? It's not even a matter of other people like, don't share and trademark it. I'm like, no, we got to share the gospel, it's free. But the Lord tells us to trust him, right? He tells us and forewarns us that people will fail you. The arms of flesh will fail you every time. You heard that, right? Scripture. He tells us to trust him. And so why do I say that? I say that because we just can't do it all. And so if you're worried about upsetting someone, granted, you should be a person of your word. Let me say this.
Yeah.
If you're going to commit to something, do it.
Absolutely. Learn
how to manage your time out, right? But a lot of people fall into, and I think it's double-sided. We fall into situations where we do. If you see this light thing, girl, I'm a hot. Anyway, New Jersey's weather is bipolar right now. So, it was like 70 degrees on Monday, snowed on Friday, ice, and it's all kinds of stuff. I'm really hot. I'm sweating. And this is real life, y'all. I'm not flashing. I'm not that old. I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer to my future husband. And so.
Love it. Love it.
And babe, I ain't that old yet. Anyway, but I say that to say that, we have the intentions of wanting to always do and help people out. And, but you can't always do that. People say you can't please everybody all the time.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. Because then now you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And I found myself in that place. I was doing ministry. I was this years ago, y'all, years ago, newly married, trying to do stuff. I was in church. I was doing praise and worship. I was at home, trying to be the wife, trying to be a mom, kids, sports, trying to do everything. And I found myself in a place of depleted.
Yeah. You had nothing in you.
And instead of me stopping, now I'm angry. Now I'm mad at everything, everybody say everything. I don't want to do it. I don't want to, and I still do, but at the end I start
because you couldn't stick to what your word. You couldn't set your boundaries.
Because I was complaining.
And you didn't know your boundaries. So you complained about everybody else because you begin to war against yourself. Because this is the thing, what I found out. And
you diagnosing me, y'all.
This by experience and life lessons. Let me tell you. So this is how it be. So one day I came home from a trip. I went to a mastermind 3 days, and it was just a woman's mastermind. And I came home, and y'all know I love stories, so because I like to get the picture, y'all to get the picture. So I came home, and my husband, he's like, "Oh, how was it? It was good." And my nephew was here. And I was like, okay. And so I wanted to, say, "Hey, honey, do you want me to ride with you to take, our nephew back home?" And he was like, no, but that's not what came out. What came out was, do you want me to drive? Because I could not say what I was thinking or what I was feeling, I begin to war against myself because I end up driving and I did not want to drive, right? So you begin, when you do not be intentional about what you mean and what you're willing to say and what you commit to, you end up being committed to things that you really don't want to do. And a war begins to happen inside of you. Now you frustrated. Now you upset because you couldn't mean what you say and say what you mean. Right? And that is like the perfect example when we were talking about, what are you taking on? What are you taking on? And then being intentional with your time and managing what God gave you. How are you managing what God has given you? That's everything regarding if it's finances, it's your business, your children, your marriage, your job. How are you handling it? And if you are frustrated or trying to overexert yourself because you trying to be everywhere and anything, but did God give that to you to manage? A lot of times we doing stuff that he didn't give us. We wanted to do it. Just like I didn't want to drive, but I ended up driving because I couldn't mean what I said and say what I mean. You get what I'm saying?
I do that. No, I used to do that a lot. I think I don't know if it's age now. I just be like, no. But do you no? And it's not me being, and it is not me being, I don't care what people think actually about if I'm being nasty or not.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Let me say that. It's a constant process. And I'm so glad, Felisha, I have you on, right? Because people look at us and they go, trauma recovery coach, and they think we have it all together. And
it's a whole process out here in these streets.
It's a whole process. It's not even just it's a whole life thing. Like, I'm constantly healing, right? I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly saying, okay, it's something else that I need to tackle, that I need to deal with because I struggle in that area. And so what does that look like? That looks like if I get a client and I can't help you in a certain area, I send them out.
Yeah. That's the best thing.
Most coaches need to learn to do that instead of messing with somebody. That's just a disclaimer. Instead of messing up somebody's life and trying to figure it out with a book in 5 minutes before you talk to them. Absolutely. You need to literally, if you're not good in that area, in certain areas, I will not coaching.
Absolutely.
I don't talk about it. I want coaching. Now, eventually I will, but as I process and as I deal in certain things, or if the level is beyond the capacity or the scope of what I can help with, I will send somebody out in a heartbeat. Sure will refer them out to somebody else. Absolutely. And people are like, but that's money. Will you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's somebody's life. I'm not trying to re-traumatize somebody.
Absolutely. And people don't understand that. I want you to be whole. That's really what it is. Like, I want you to be better. So if I'm not able to help you, there is nothing wrong with finding that help for you, because a lot of times we forget that we just don't need one person. We need a whole tribe of people. And whatever you have in your life going on, you need a tribe of people that you need to sit on their couch, period, point blank. If you need a therapist, you need somebody parenting, you need a coach, you need a friend, you need those people backing you. So when things that you don't know, when all heck break loose, right? You need those people. Oh, okay. Hey, trauma coach Teresa, I need you because I'm going through this. I know you're a minister. Can you pray? Or if you can pray, you can't pray. Okay, I just need somebody that can pray right now, because spiritually, I'm just. You need a group of people that's in your corner, because it's not just I'm healed, I'm done. No. This is a lifetime journey. And I think I said this when we did a show together on my Instagram, was that even salvation itself is a process. But we don't think so, because a lot of times we get saved, or we get, in that place of, I'm the Lord's favorite, or, I'm God's chosen, I'm called. And we forget that, no, baby, there's always a redoing and becoming undone and shedding back these layers so we can fully walk into what God has called for us. But because we mess up at is that we think that we're finished. There's no more work for us to do. There's no more healing for us to do. There's no more growing and then we get complacent. That is what I truly believe is the biggest mistake and a danger to yourself, when you think that you have arrived in any area of your life or any aspect of your life. That is when you become in danger, when you are complacent and you say, I'm done. This is who I am. So, yeah.
Listen, and I'm gonna say this, and then we'll transition. It's just two things. I did a show last year. I had Cassandra Mayo on the show. And in the show, she said, you need a board of directors for your life.
That's good.
Because everybody will hold a different position in your life.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, to go to these specific, I need to catch that show. That's a really good show. And she has a wonderful book out right now. I'm just throwing that plug in because I just love everybody.
Absolutely.
And she has, you know, a wonderful book that's out. And just, you know, again, you need people in your life for specific things. Like, you can't just have that one person. You're never going to find one person who meets every single need in your life. Because if you found that one person who meets every single need in your life, you won't need Christ.
No.
And if you feel like you've arrived, then you're still saying, I don't need Christ, because now you're saying that you're a perfect person. And so we all need the Lord.
Oh.
I say it, y'all know I'll say it because it just is what it is. And it's my platform and I don't got to filter it, right? I don't got to say, we all need the higher power in God. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking nobody's platform. I'm just saying, we all need the Lord, right? And if we were these perfect people who had it all together all the time, then it would be like we wouldn't need him, right? And sometimes we go through things and we have them struggles that keep us in his face that we need to, because if we didn't have that struggle, would you really pray as hard as you did? If you had that, if he just gave us everything that we actually so desired, would we really be grateful? If we didn't have to struggle sometimes to get the things that we need, right? Would we be really grateful and show gratitude towards the Lord if he just was like, oh, okay, I know she need, here you go. If he didn't make it easier for us, will we really be grateful? Will we really have faith in him? And a lot of times with a lot of things, and we act like we are entitled, that he just has to do because he's God, and he doesn't. And so we just have this expectation, and then we get mad when he don't do it. Or we get mad when he don't do it in the time that we need for him to do it. And so I'm saying all that to say is that we have not arrived. We're going to have struggles. We're going to have opposition. We're going to have things that we feel as if God needs to put a rush on to do. And then there's certain things, like you said, that God has made provision for us. Hello. And we have been a bad steward over it. And so now we're in the midst of learning the lesson of, you need to be a better steward over whatever he put in your hands for you to do. And so that was my thing. God used to make provision. I would have a need, God would make provision, and I wouldn't steward over it in the way that I should have. And so then I had to reap what I sowed. The whatever it was, I had to go through it because God was faithful, because that's what he is, right? He was faithful to the situation, but I was a bad steward of the situation. And that's not just with money, y'all. Sometimes that's with people. Sometimes you need somebody to do something. God will send and make provision. It says that the wealth of the wicked, right? The wealth is laid up with the wicked, right? Wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, right? And so I say that because sometimes he'll send the people that you don't even think will come to your rescue with the resolve to whatever it is that you need, but you was a bad steward and treated them nasty because of what coulda, woulda, shoulda, or what they did in the past. And so you're holding on to the past instead of looking and saying, God, did you do this? Because it could have been a twofold. He might have been bringing that person to repair the relationship and allowing for that person to meet the need that you needed. But y'all know I'm getting chatty. I ain't going to get all into that, but it's just a thinking point, because sometimes all of us, we don't evaluate and look at the overall picture of, just everything, right? Like you said, salvation, I mean, it's a process. Things are processes. We go through what we go through is a process, how we handle things, how we live. We're ever growing, ever developing. We're always healing. We're realizing things, like sometimes you have to stop and keep going. Sometimes you can keep going while you're processing. But whatever your process is, I always say, and I'm going to say this and we're going to shift into the call of action. I always say life is like a marathon, a race, a marathon race. On that journey, on the journey that we are, and what put me there in that place to say that is because the Bible always refers to this walk of salvation as a race. The race is not given to the swift nor the battle to the strong, right? But the one who endures to the end. So I look at it as a marathon, because most races is like 100 meters or whatever, right? In this race, on this journey that we are on, when we start, everybody's cheering you on. When you have a baby, as in the natural, as in the spiritual, I always say it. You have a baby, people are cheering for you. Look at that baby, that baby cute. Well, sometimes they say that. Sometimes, Lord Jesus, gonna pray for them, right? But everybody cheering on these kids, cheering them on. They in school, cheering them on. And so you have this crowd of people. As you progress, as you get older, as you move forward in this journey, you will find yourself alone in those pathways where it's alone. You know, people are around, but you can't hear them. It's just like in a marathon, they're in the midst of a forest, in the midst of something where they don't see anybody, they don't hear anybody. Does that mean to stop? No, it means to keep going. Right? Because you haven't gotten to the end yet. Some people fall, but then they get back up. Some people fall, but need assistance to get back up. Some people get thirsty. They got to stop and get some water. They got to stop and they got to eat. Depending on how long the marathon is, some people stop and sleep wherever it may be. Does that mean that does that mean that the people who finished that they've arrived? Like, does that mean that they perfected everything? You might have trained in every single component of that marathon that you could have, but things happen. The unexpected can happen. The key is to keep going and to understand that there is a finish, but we ain't get there yet. And so you might have that part of the marathon where you feel as if you're doing good, you ahead of everybody, you running, right? You ahead, you good. Because we all have one common goal in mind, which is kingdom. And that's what our goal should be, especially in Christian. It's not, did I outrun them? Did I run faster than them?
How about that?
We all have one common goal. And so while you're on this journey, know that your time might be good right now, but it's always things that could be worked on. It's always places where you have to stop. It's always places where you need a refreshing. It's always places where you need somebody to help you out along the way. And if it's not you right now, that person that's running next to you, they might need you to just encourage them. Lift up their arms, push them along the way. You can do it. We're all one. And when we put that concept in our minds to understand that it ain't no big eyes, little U's, it ain't no I'm doing this, outdoing you, because our one focus is kingdom.
Absolutely.
Making it to the end. And I believe that's why the Bible referred to it as a race. And telling you it's not given to the swift. It's not. It tells us that we're all helpers of one another. Because you ain't better than me. You done failed. You done slipped up. We all go through stuff. Ain't nobody perfect.
Ain't nobody.
Because on the race, we all going to hit some type of obstacle. It's guaranteed to happen. Whether you riding a bike on a race. Look at all kinds of marathons and races. Some people catch cramps in their leg. That wasn't something planned. You couldn't have trained for that. It's a cramp. So it's things in life we can't prepare for at all. But it resorts us back to understanding that we are human. We are all, no matter how independent we want to be. God created us all to be codependent, but mostly codependent and dependent on Him to meet every need that we have. And so with that being said, I'm going to stop talking. Y'all know we get to the point in the show where we do the call to action. Lord knows I have learned the lesson today to cut my heater off while I'm doing this show, but that's a whole nother story for another time, right? It just reminds me I don't want to go to hell. So I'm going to stop talking, right? Because we do, if it's your first time watching the show, or your second time, you already know call to action. I always call this like the altar call of the show. You never want to go to church and hear a sermon and not have an altar call. Somebody might not go to church and be like, what is an altar call? It's your what's next, right? What are you going to do next with all of this content and information that you've heard, right? And so, and if you still don't understand, it's like watching a really good movie. It's like watching a really good movie and you get to I was watching this really good movie and I got to the end of the movie and the man walked off this thing and just walked away and the movie ended. And I was like, what kind of ending was that? And so I never want to leave y'all in a place of you're relatable. and you've heard everything that we've said, and then you get off this broadcast and you're like, what's next? What's my next? What do I do next? And so I leave this portion totally in the hands of my guest that comes on the show, because again, I talk a lot, y'all, but I don't have all the resolve for everything and for everyone. And y'all see I'm getting chatty now, so I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to grace and give this period to you, Felisha. Thank you.
Well said, Coach Patricia. Like everything you said is absolutely just valid. But you might be an individual that might be thinking, but like, okay, so how do I get to this point of I'm able to set boundaries, I'm able to learn me, or I'm able to manage. The first thing I would say is take a step back, and not only take a step back, but begin to have awareness and of who you are, your personality, what is in your life that you are managing at this moment, what is happening at this present moment, and begin to truly look into those things and say, okay, maybe what can I do better? Or how can I make this better? Or how can I change this? And begin to take one step at a time. Like Coach Shatrice was saying, it's like this is a race, but it's one step at a time. It's one movement at a time. Because why? It is a process. There's going to be things that happen in your life that may be like, okay, that will reveal certain things, right? There may be things that you're learning and unlearning about yourself, and that's that moment of, okay, I see it, I'm aware of it. Now, okay, what do I need to do to move from this place or this point of in my life? And so I always start off with, have that awareness. And how do you begin to set boundaries? Really, okay, you might be having so much things going on, but what are you needing in this time, mentally, emotionally, physically, that you need to do for you to manage what God has given you? What do you need to do, and what does that look like? Begin to write it down. Begin to write it down. If Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Your calendar is your best friend. It is not until I begin to live by a calendar. And even if it's things that that you do every single day, you get up every day, but you write it down because you know that this is how you're going to set your boundaries. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I will. Do I have other commitments? Or at this time, I cannot. And if you don't know how to verbalize that, you begin to say, let me check my calendar. I get back with you. When do you, like Coach Shatrice, she said it perfectly. She's like, okay, when do you need a response from me by? And that is okay. The second thing I want to touch on is that it's okay. It is okay. It's okay to feel like, okay, I don't know what's next. It's okay. But you're not willing or getting stuck at that point of saying, well, I don't know what's next, so I'm not even going to try. I don't even care. I'm not even bothered with it. So I encourage you today, to just continue to get those team of people around you that can help you, that can equip you. Get on somebody's couch. I'm going to say it again, get on someone's couch, because those people that you have behind you or that you gather around you may see something that you don't see. They might have a different perspective. They might able to give you tools and techniques. So get a team of people like Coach Shatrice. Yeah, you like that? I'm a plug. Like, get around those people that's able to give you different tools and techniques on how to handle whatever you're going through. Begin to search out a safety support system. You might be like, Coach Felisha, what is that? Your safety support system is when you don't know that you don't know, when you're having a hard time, when you're battling with certain things, or even it might be going great. You have a safety support network that you can call and say, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. And I just need you to give me something or tools, or I just need to talk to you, right? So they're able to encourage you and stand beside you and push you into the better version of who you are meant to be. You're not meant to be broken. You're not meant to be hurt. You're not meant to struggle. I don't care what anyone says. You are not meant to be broken. You're not meant to. So get around those individuals. And yeah, am I just doing the whole call to action? And okay, so yeah, get to that place of that you are knowing who you are. My favorite thing that helped me to get to know who I was getting alone by myself. I love the beach. I live in Miami, Florida. I love the beach. So my thing was every morning I would get up and I would go to the beach and I would just put my feet in the sand. I would listen to the wind, listen to the waves, and I'm like, this is this place that puts me at peace. Find your place that puts you at peace. Find that time of the day, beginning to realize, okay, I am more active in the morning, or I'm more active at night. Find out when you have the most energy. Tackle the big stuff in your life. Far as whatever you have on your to-do list or your goals list, tackle that when you have the most energy. This is what getting to know yourself look like. Knowing when, like, oh, after 5 o'clock I am no good, right? Or at 5 o'clock, oh, this is when my creative flow is happening. This is when I got the most energy. Like, this is what knowing you and saying, this is me, and accepting all of that good stuff. And so one of the things that I do with Heal Your Story, that is my company, Heal Your Story LLC, is that we have a retreat called Life After Trauma Retreat. And it's for individuals, that have been through any traumatic experience. And that is what we do. We take time to rediscover who we are in this moment, not what trauma has done or what people have said. And we really begin to rest, relax, take a step back and say, okay, I've been through a lot. This year's been hectic. It's been crazy, but this is a time for me and me to get to know yourself. So I would love to send out that invitation to any one of you that you are watching right now, that you can contact me at healyourstory.live, or on all social media platforms, Felisha Johnson, or on Instagram at I am Felisha Johnson. And you can say retreat and be like, I'm interested in the retreat. And I will send all that information to you, because it is a time that we are going to be on Sanibel Island, Florida. We're going to be in Florida, y'all. It's sunny. It's Sunday. But no,
Don't rub it in.
we're gonna be on Sanibel Island, May 20th through the 22nd. And I just opened that invitation up to you guys. And you're welcome. Like, you're welcome to just have that moment when you're throwing away the hustle and bustle and you taking a step back to feed you and pour into you. Right? So yeah, I think I'm done.
Thank you so much, Felicia. Listen, y'all, she gave y'all a lot of nuggets. And I'm not going to be redundant and repeat what she said, but I will say this. Anything that you deem that's broken can always be fixed.
Yep.
It's not destroyed where it's not repairable. So wherever you feel that there is a piece of your life that's broken, it can be fixed, it can be healed, it can be repaired. And she having a whole retreat, y'all, that can help you to do that. And you could call her, because she is a trauma recovery coach as well, right? And so, again, y'all have so many tools out here and so many people who authentically want to see you healed and to operate in a healed place, right? And so utilize that. I just want to thank you, Felisha, so much for coming on. Thank you. You are such an awesome person. I absolutely love your spirit. I thank God for the connection. I'm so church, y'all. I'm giving a whole church benediction, right? But I just want to, you're not even like
the benediction.
I'm like, and on today, we want to thank everybody for coming on today. Like, and so I was introduced to one of my friends at their birthday party the other day, and I was like, we want to thank you for coming on tonight. They was like, on tonight, she is so church. I am. It's just in me. I've been there, born, raised, whatever, right? And so thank you for coming on. Y'all have all of her contact information. I will definitely post it in the comments, and as we're and you'll probably already seen it as we were advertising the show. But I do want to thank you again, Felisha, for coming on. Or do you have any last comments before we exit? I need some exit music.
Exit music.
Yeah, so I got
exit music. I talk. But yeah, like, you are able to overcome everything that has happened to you. Like, whatever you're facing right now, like, you got this. Like, when I say you got this, that means that you're not stuck. You're not broken. You're not. You can overcome it all. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents. And it was a pleasure of being here with you and all of you being here with us. I'm excited. And yeah, now you can't get rid of me.
You can't get rid of me either.
I'll put that out there.
We're going to have a trauma recovery conference, y'all.
Oh, yes.
We'll have a TR conference. Y'all going to see us on the flyer like this.
I'm ready. Well,
thank you all for tuning in. Listen, I'm so excited. Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you for being consistent with following, right? And thank you for checking in on me when you ain't see a podcast recording. Just know I am here and we are going to move forward. I only want to bring you the best, and I would never shortchange you with that. And so with that being said, y'all know check out, I got to put this plug in, right? Because they said I need to. So September 30th, in commemoration of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Inspiring You Corporation, not-for-profit, we will be hosting our very first annual Inspiring You Awards Gala, where we will be celebrating and awarding those who work in the domestic violence and sexual. Domestic violence is such a large umbrella if you don't know, but some people do not know, so we spell it out and say domestic violence and sexual assault. Those who work the crisis lines, those who actually just volunteer to do the work. So I have the information is on all of my pages, or you can follow Inspiring You Corp, which is a nonprofit, or you could go to inspiringyoucorp.org and get more information. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. There is a donation spot. We are 501c3, so all donations is 100% deductible. And so if you can't come, you can always support. If you're not financially able to support it, it's okay. Y'all know me already. Y'all could just share the flyer for me. And that is support enough, right? It's just to get the word out there and to celebrate those unsung heroes who donate their time and their efforts. And a lot of them were at one point in time a victim. And they are survivors, and they go back to help out others who are coming through trauma. So we definitely want to celebrate them on that day. And so again, you guys, I just want to think that was my little infomercial. I need to spruce it up a little bit. Anyway, so y'all, listen, I am closing out from this show. I just want to say, as y'all know, the quote, as always, that healing does not mean that the trauma never existed. It means that it no longer controls your life. Thank you all for tuning in. Come back. Y'all see the post. Y'all, I want to say come back in next week and turn out to be a liar, y'all. I don't want to lie to y'all. So what I am going to say is follow me for the next flyer so that you can see when the next show is coming on, A Release of My Secret, the podcast where we bring in guests and we amplify our voice one story at a time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great one. Take care.